selection away from primary care specialty and into subspecialty training. And one of the reasons that you will hear U.S. medical students say that they are not pursuing those particular career paths is that the compensation is not adequate compared to their debt when they leave medical school. The average U.S. medical school student graduates with $155,000 in debt, and oftentimes that is one of the things that drives their decision for a career choice.
Thank you, Dr. Richards. Are there any other panelists? Paul?
I agree with a lot of what you just said, but with all due respect to having doctors on either side of me, I would say that doctors don't have to do everything in relating to health care. Nurse practitioners are one area. Walmart's getting into, I know Walmart's probably not popular in this room either, but they're getting into offering minute clinics and things with nurse practitioners and others. There are a lot of health practitioners who can take care of your day-to-day needs without necessarily needing a doctor. Nonetheless, the financial incentives are very important, and doctors need to be paid as professionals, and a lot of them, I know from experience, are just sick of dealing with paperwork, and so that's a function of the Medicare issue that John addressed.
Thank you, Mr. Jesse. Let's move on to our final, our fifth questionnaire of the first five. Steve Stribling from Corrales.
Yes, that's great. I have a lot of questions here, and a lot of them have already been answered. I'm curious, Martin, what are you voting for the Obama health care plan?
I'll have to see what our final product looks like first.
Have you read the bill?
Yeah, I have read the bill.
It's 1,100 pages.
It's 2017 in the original draft, and then there are a number of changes that happened in Energy and Commerce and in the other two committees of jurisdiction. I spent about 7 hours after I read the bill going over it with staff on a section-by-section basis. There are things in here that I think are good for New Mexico and good for healthcare. There are things I want to see changed, and we're still negotiating for things like fixing the regional disparity issue that hurts so many of our healthcare providers here in New Mexico. What we come up with in the end, I'm going to have to read again and figure out whether it's a move forward or not.
You know, it seems to me everybody in this room is human beings, and you congressmen, senators, get elected to a situation, you get up to Washington, and all of a sudden you're the elite group. I would bet that none of you writing this bill and throwing it on us are going to accept that same insurance for yourself.
Steve, I'll take your bet and I'll raise you one. First off, I kept the insurance I had before because it was better than what I got as a congressman, but this is still about choice. And if we get the public option as it's currently crafted in H.R. 3200, I would be happy to sign on to the public option. We still have a fight on our hands to make sure that that happens, but I also think that other folks for whom the answer to their health care questions is different ought to be able to pursue that path as well.
Any additions from the panelists before we move on to our next five questions? Paul Gessing, please.
One very quick thing, I appreciate the congressman's going through the bill. You can see it's dog-eared and there's tons of tabs in there. But this isn't the final bill. What we need to make sure is that Congress gives the American people and everyone concerned adequate time. Once the amendments are in, once they're going to the floor with a vote, we need a breathing time to read through this thing and get our final opinion back.